We need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown.
Hey, it's Nex, and we've got some brand new Resident Evil Requiem footage to show and more. So a couple weeks back, we had more hands-on gameplay with Resident Evil Requiem, and this time we were able to play as Leon and see what happened to Grace after she got dragged by that monster in our last playthrough. There's a ton of new gameplay elements revealed, new enemies, and in this video, you'll get to see some never-before-seen footage now that the embargo has lifted. But first, let's start off with everything we know so far about the game, including all the basic information you need to know, as well as the new reveals from last week's showcase. Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th mainline chapter of the franchise. It's set to release on February 27, 2026 on PC, PS5, Xbox Series XS, and Nintendo Switch 2, and it aims to redefine what it means to survive a bioweapon nightmare by combining many elements of all the past games and putting a unique spin to the game in this iteration. At the core of Requiem's reveal is its dual protagonist structure. On one side, we have Grace Ashcroft, a new character and FBI analyst drawn back to Raccoon City, which we all know was destroyed, but now it's filled with new, unanswered horrors. On the other side is the franchise's favorite, Leon Kennedy, who's returning, and in this iteration, he's pretty hardened, older, and is pretty much a badass. So let's talk about Grace first. Grace's part is more investigative, she's more fearful, and you really feel her terror when you play as her with every step she takes. The default mode is a first-person mode, which really sucks you into that classic, almost psychological claustrophobic survivor horror feel. Grace's sections embody classic survival horror tension with limited ammo, tight corridors, and terrifying enemies that forces you into avoidance and smart planning rather than brute force most of the time. But that doesn't mean she's not fun to play. She just plays differently, and you'll eventually upgrade her crafting abilities. A new part in the crafting system lets Grace use infected blood taken from enemies to make special items, which is a cool mechanic that adds more depth. Also revealed during the showcase special is a revolver called Requiem, just like the game, and this is a pretty devastating gun, but the ammo is extremely scarce, so good decision making on when to use it is really important. Playing as Leon brings a more high-octane action feel. His sessions are built around aggression, precision kills, and cinematic combat with some cool gameplay moves, and I love the nod to some familiar moves such as his roundhouse kick, following up shots to the leg that we all know and love from Resident Evil 4. His sessions default to third-person view to match that higher action and faster pace feel with less emphasis on survival horror. Aside from Leon's cool finishers, he also has a hatchet that's capable of parrying incoming attacks and delivering crunchy and satisfying close-quarter kills. Another cool reveal is that Leon can pick up enemy weapons, chainsaws, cleavers, whatever the infected were carrying, and use them. And by the way, you can actually play in first or third-person view and switch anytime for both characters. Another addition to this iteration of Resident Evil is the behavioral traits of zombies. The infected may continue habits from their lives before infection, like cleaning hallways or performing repetitive tasks. Not only does it add a small layer of storytelling depth, but it's nice to use it so that you can take note of the habits to avoid confrontation or control them even, which we'll see later on in the video. So now that we're caught up with everything that was revealed up to the point of the showcase, let's talk about our actual hands-on gameplay experience and also show some new, never-before-seen B-roll footage.
Mr. Kennedy, we need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown. Doctor.
Calm down.
I think I want a second opinion. You okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Leon Kennedy, DSO. What does Victor want with you?
What?
Grace,
What do you
he
mean?
grabbed you for a reason.
Wait, you're DSO. That's the counter bioterrorism agency, right?
Take this.
You're sure?
You might need it. Now go. Get out of here.
Let's start off with the new enemies. The first memorable zombie we encountered in our playthrough of the latest demo was this guy, who you may have gotten a glimpse of during the showcase. He was basically a huge chef or butcher who eventually got infected. Like with most enemies you go against when you're playing as Grace, you have to be very smart with how you engage with some of the bigger infected. And you'll quickly learn that you can't really go toe-to-toe with all of the enemies, because not only will you run out of ammo quickly, but you'll most likely find yourself dying a lot. Keep in mind that even avoiding an enemy involves being strategic and planning due to the smart layout of the building. And sometimes it involves shooting around to stun an enemy before you're able to get past a point. But also, keep in mind sometimes you'll have to kill an enemy in order to get an important item that allows you to unlock the next part. That's just another example where your decisions on how you use your ammo comes into play. Now this zombie here really hates light, so you can use that to your advantage by turning the light switches on and off, or sneaking up on him or passing him when he's busy turning the lights out. So again, playing smart and using the environment to your advantage will actually let you control the zombies in this way. Continuing on the topic of new zombies, this one right here uses her voice as a weapon against Grace. And we finally see more of this huge monster that we saw a few frames of at the showcase. In our demo, it was terrorizing the floors and proved to be the biggest obstacle in the way of letting Grace move freely between different parts of the east wing of the building, which made getting all of the different clues and puzzle pieces she needed pretty much difficult. Facing these infected when playing as Grace felt so much more stressful and difficult, and a head-on approach would spell certain death. And honestly, if I had to play this stressed the entire game, it would almost come to a point where I'd be so stressed that I'd want to stop or take breaks. That's the very issue they wanted to avoid, and they solved that by balancing the style with Leon. And you can see the contrast of facing the same enemy with Leon. Look how much different the experience is for Leon to take out the Siren infected here.
This place is infested. Sorry to cut you out.
Same enemies, but different style. Different ability depending on who you're playing as, and I think that's one of the core principles of the game. Now, this isn't to say that Grace isn't capable. She is a far cry from Ashley Graham. Aside from the use in case of emergency only Requiem gun, she also learns new crafting abilities that allow her to craft and use a specialized injector that literally causes the zombies to explode. You may have seen from the showcase how Grace needs to collect infected blood in order to craft the injector, which adds another layer to the game. Overall, we found that they really balanced the feel of Grace, where you could feel the fear and stress in every step, while still nimble enough to escape certain situations without feeling too much like an athlete. So in our demo, there were 2 wings of the building revealed, a west wing and an east wing. Similar to all the other Resident Evil games, you need to find puzzle pieces or solve clues to unlock the other areas of the building, and most of the puzzle and clue solving happens when you're stressed out and trying to survive as Grace. You also collect tokens in the game, which is kind of like in-game currency, and you can use it to buy things like upgraded health, larger ammo capacity, or larger storage pouches. Because of the limited amount of tokens, your upgrade decisions will really impact your playthrough. I also found that inventory management is just as important in Requiem as it was in other games, maybe even more so than others. Based on what we've played so far, I'm liking the game more the more you play it and more you find out about it. Sure, there may have been one part where it was frustrating trying to pave a path for Grace without dying much, but all that did at the end was force us to play smarter and more patient. After the first demo, I may have been slightly worried that Grace would feel too useless the whole time, but I think seeing more of the weapons she has, the specialized injector, the additional crafting that makes her more capable, I'm feeling pretty good. Some people might be bothered by having to go back and forth between the 2 different styles of Leon and Grace, especially if they only prefer one. But I'm imagining a game where you have to play with one style the entire time, and I feel like that game would be a little redundant and a worse game overall. It's also hard to judge how the switching going back and forth will affect the overall feel and pacing of the full game because we haven't played it. But in the demo, we didn't really have any issues with it, and instead we did feel that relief and stress release that they were going for. I'm really looking forward to the release of the game, which is right around the corner, so we're able to judge it based on the full game.
Hey, over here. You okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Leon Kennedy, DSO.
CSO. I'm Grace. Ashcroft. FBI.
FBI. What are you doing here?
Someone kidnapped me.
Victor Gideon.